Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim CEO show. This is the place for you if you want to become an amazing leader and grow your business or organization to the next level. So I'm your host and brother, Mohammad Arshad. The way we become amazing is by learning from those that have already been there, done it and bought the shalwar kameez. And so I am so honored today. I'm really honored, alhamdulillah, to have with me the great Adeem Younis. Assalamu alaikum, Adeem.
Wa alaikum assalam. I definitely got the shalwar kameez on today, bro.
Oh yeah, perfect.
It's Friday. It's the dress down Friday, so those Pakistanis coming out shalwar kameez.
So is that something you do regularly, right? Wear shalwar kameez and stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, but this is the way to kind of to show off the fact, like, alhamdulillah.
Sorry, we just lost you there for Adeem. So are you saying that you do wear the shalwar kameez a lot?
Yeah, regular, yeah, absolutely.
I like it, representing mashallah. Okay, so I'm really excited to have.
You're wearing your shalwar kameez there as well, bro.
Sorry, no, mine's actually a thobe, so it goes all the way to the bottom.
I can't see the bottom. I can just see the top.
Yeah. I'm not wearing anything underneath, bro, like those newscasters, right? So I'm super excited to have you on the show. This is, the reason why, because I believe you're a true master of entrepreneurship and growth, mashallah, tabarakallah. And there's so much we can learn from your journey. So what I want to do is just give a quick intro for anyone that doesn't know you. I just want to give a quick intro, right? So Adeem, if you don't know him already, he's a multi-award, and I mean multi, like loads of award-winning chairman and founder of some absolutely massive and successful Muslim organizations. So there's the global charity that is Penny Appeal, and the matrimony platform Single Muslim, which is, I didn't know this, but it's the biggest Muslim website in the whole of the UK. And if that wasn't enough, you should know that he spends his spare time running marathons, taking walks with lions, yes, real lions, and he's even a Guinness World Record breaker, not once, but twice. Bro, you're making us look bad.
Oh man, alhamdulillah.
So bro, jazakallah khair for joining me. Like I said, I'm really excited because I believe that your vision, your experience is amazing, and the impact you've had is unbelievable. I mean, there's going to be children who are going to be born, alhamdulillah, because of like the work you did, man, and all that stuff. That's deep.
You know what? We were set up nearly 20, well, if I'm being precise, 19 years ago. So those children that were born as a result of the website in the first year of us launching, and there was many, are now at the age of eligibility at 18 years old to go back on the website themselves.
That's so deep. That's amazing. I love that. Okay, amazing, mashallah. So the first question I got for you, Adeem, right? This is like unscripted, right? What was 10-year-old Adeem like?
10-year-old Adeem like? I can't remember a lot about what I was like at 10 years old. However, mainly from family, and they tell me now, is like, I loved making things. I loved Lego. I loved just kind of like just making things in the garden, and I remember a little bit of tree houses, whatever it was, just kind of like finding old caravans and just like making little houses in there, and just kind of like you just going on little missions, I guess, and just getting out there and exploring, pushing myself, and just pushing boundaries.
And what did you want to be at that age? Do you remember when you were younger? Like what did you actually want to be when you grew up?
It might be the wrong thing to say,
Go on.
but I wanted to be Michael Jackson.
Okay, amazing. All right, that's good.
The moonwalk, man. I was like doing the moonwalk to school and back, that kind of thing. But
can you still moonwalk? That's what I want to know.
The kids, I'm sick. I'm sick at moonwalking. I'm a pretty good moonwalker, definitely.
Well, I want you to send us a clip afterwards so I can edit it in there. Amazing. Okay, so Adeem, like, it's very strange because for me, like, obviously I've known about you for a while. And I've known you about like Penny Appeal and this stuff. But as I started looking into it, I was like I'm inspired very easily. I see a brother on the street, he's just doing something very small. I get inspired very easily. But it takes a lot to impress me. And as I was going through your stuff, I was like really impressed, mashallah. And then at the same time I was looking at you, I'm like, this brother seems so down to earth and things like this. So like, tell me, like, how did this all start, bro? How did we get from like, just being that kid who plays to Lego to actually, having the biggest site in the world when it comes to marriage and stuff for Muslims?
Yeah. No, I think firstly, it's all a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. everybody tries hard. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a billionaire or a trillionaire, it's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put you there. And if you're working the hardest you can and you're grafting and you're not able to even pay the rent or pay your way, that's because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. It's not because you're trying any harder or you're any smarter or you're any better in terms of your abilities. It's just because you've not been given that opportunity. But in terms of the story, my journey really began when I was 8 years old, and tragically I lost my father. I lost my father, and at that time I didn't know how much of a big deal or an impact that would have on my life as an individual. I remember, taking daffodils from the garden to the hospital. I knew my father wasn't well, but taking daffodils for him, and it was quite serious because the imam used to be there on a regular basis, and a lot of the family travelled from up and down the country, even from abroad, to come. So as a child, I knew that there was it was very, very serious. But you take things for granted. You're thinking, okay, that's the new norm. Father's going to be in hospital. That's it. And then one day I came back from school, and I remembered we lived in a mid-terraced house, and the street was just jam-packed of cars. You just couldn't get anywhere because of the cars. And got to the house, and there were just shoes littered outside on the street, in the front garden, and the hallway was just crammed. And I walked in, and everybody just looking at me and staring at me. And then my father's coffin was in the hallway, mid-terraced house, very narrow. Half of the hallway was taken by a coffin. And my auntie's she's looking down at me, and she's saying, "What's going to happen of you? What's going to become of you? What's going to become of you?" And she's looking up, and she's saying, "God, why have you done this? Why have you taken his father? What is he going to do? He's never going to be able to do this. He's never going to be able to do that." And literally just there and then, she just made a judgment. This is you now. You're done. You're finished. There's nothing more. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And just that I think I buried that in my head for so many years. And only recently have I started, when people have, like yourself, Arshad, when people have said to you, okay, what's your journey? Where have you come from? Why have you done this? And I've started revisiting that memory. And I think I hid that for many years. And I remember as a child at school, we were in the playground, and one of the children in the class came and says, "Oh, Adeem, your father's called deceased." So I used to know your father's called John and your father's called Mark and whatever. Adeem, your father's called deceased. I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. My father's called deceased. And anyway, we went back to class, and the teacher's like, "Calm down, everybody. His father's not called deceased. His father is deceased, which means his father's no longer here." And then everybody started to treat me differently in school. It's like, "Oh, Adeem hasn't got a father." And I guess at that point you think to yourself, well, you know what? I don't want to be any less than anybody else. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has dealt me this hand, and you've got to deal with the hand that you've been given. So I haven't got a father. It just doesn't mean that I'm disabled in some way, or doesn't mean that I'm any less than anybody else. It's just that's just the way it is. Some people have got different. You might be able or disabled in many different ways. But it wasn't just at school. I guess it was at home as well, when people were, this is Yunus' son, not that Yunus. This is this Yunus who's not, passed away. This is so and so. He's a yatim.
It became like an identity, right?
It almost became like an identity. You're right. And I only kind of like overcame that identity once that I was at high school, I guess. And I didn't want people, because it was a new set of friends and a new environment. People didn't know me, so I didn't tell people about my home life or what my personal circumstances. My high school, literally, there's three Asians in the whole of the high school, so it was a very white, kind of like middle class high school as well. So there wasn't a lot of kind of like friendships where people would come to the house and whatnot. So but that's when I started to, I guess, create my own identity, like you said, and even more so when I was at college, because I studied design and marketing, and like a big component of that was IT, like digital now. And it was only when my teachers, Tony and Ron, who really believed in me and said to me, Adeem, you're really good at it. You've got this natural ability for marketing and design and IT. I saw them as almost like these role models, because they had done what I wanted to do. And when we were given work experience, everybody else was given work experiences in maybe a card factory, or somebody was given a work experience in this IT company or whatever. My work experience was 2 weeks at Yorkshire Television.
Wow, okay.
Yorkshire Television was massive, and I was like, wow. And they're like, no, you're going to do us proud. So I went in, I was smart, and you go in and you try your best. And it just so happened that I was the first one there, and I was the last one out. And I think because of the kind of the upbringing that I had as any Asian child, like, you're going to make tea and you're going to make coffee, you're going to clean up, and you're going to, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. I was like, doesn't matter. How many cups of tea do you want? How many coffees do you want? I'll go get you lunch. I'll go get you, whatever. I'll go do your shopping for you. I remember when the Hoover broke down, I jumped on a bus to Argos, picked a Hoover up. One of the directors said, look, how am I going to get my Leeds United tickets? Because, they're on sale and can't get. I said, don't worry. You get yourself off home because you've got so-and-so to do. I'll go and get you Leeds United tickets, and I'll come and I'll bring it back for you. And I was there. I used to do all the photocopying. I used to do all the dog's body work, basically. I know the value of that now. As somebody who employs hundreds of people, I know the value of having a good work experience, or the impression that you leave if you're good at work experience or as an apprentice, because you're hungry for it. But the way that I saw that was that I was completely immersed in this world where I was learning so much. I was learning about sales. I was learning about marketing. I was learning about kind of print. I was learning about digital. I was learning this whole new world that I didn't even know existed. I'll walk in past celebrities on a daily basis, because this is a news channel. So you've got people coming in for interviews. People, like you said, in terms of they sat on these chairs and you actually see them walking around like, wow, you've actually got legs. You're a news anchor, you've actually got legs. And I remember one year we were doing this, that year, they were doing the updating the Queen's obituary, the Queen Mother's obituary, sorry. I spent all day pretending that I knew about the fact that the Queen Mother had passed away, when actually she didn't. This is something that news channels do on a regular basis, where they update obituaries of people who are kind of like, at an age or at high risk.
Yeah.
And oh my God, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, you're so silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is something that they do. And that was a big learning curve for me as well. Like, wow, this industry is so planned and prepped. And at the end of my 2-week work experience, the guys that were there, I said to me, look, Adeem, you've been phenomenal. And we've really, enjoyed having you around, and we'd like to offer you a 6 months work experience.
Wow.
Because they knew I was only at college 4 days a week. So your 5th day, whenever that 5th day is, we'd like you to come back to Leeds. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? It was like, that was just amazing for me. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I know for them, I might have been a free cleaner. I might have been a free tea boy. I might have been a free researcher. But for me, I was taking on so much, and I was learning so much every single minute being there.
So let me ask you something about that, Adeem, right? So very, very interesting. It's amazing where you start, right, in life and where you end up. I mean, what I want to know is that where did that kind of mindset come from? Because you had you're saying that, I was going to prove everyone wrong. I was going to work really hard, and you took massive action. Like, at that age, how do you get that kind of mindset? Like, what drove you to behave in such like a great way?
I think it's because of the family environment, really, because my mum was a single parent in a northern town, and she was so positive. She still is so positive, and she's like a real powerful lady in the sense of, she's a pillar for the Asian women in our community, and she literally doesn't take no for an answer. If she believes in something, she learned to drive because she had to do the errands for those guys, and she had to do the shopping, and she had to drop us off at school. She learned how to sew clothes to make some extra money in terms of being able to fund our activities at school and school trips and whatnot. And I remember starting off with the pencil cases, sewing pencil cases at home for like 2 pence each and whatever. And I went from there to a market shop, and she went from a market shop then to actually having a shop on the high street in Wakefield. We used to go to warehouses and buy like garments and material, and it was all new, because this is not something that we did. I mean, my grandfather, may Allah have mercy on his soul, he was military. He was in the Indian Army, and then obviously the Pakistan Army. That's obviously that from his age. But he fought in the Second World War, and then he came over, like a lot of our elders did. So we come from a kind of an agricultural family. A lot of whom have gone into the military. So kind of business and retail and this kind of field is absolutely new to us. But it's something that my mum did, and she just did with a smile on her face, and she did just by plowing through. And I learned about relationships, and that was just normal. For me, seeing that was just, this is how life is. You graft hard on a Monday morning, and you graft hard on a Friday night, and you graft hard on a Saturday, 7 days a week. You know, we didn't really have many holidays apart from when family or friends were like, okay, why don't you come with us? And, you know, we were the kind of family or the people that came along because we got the invite, not because we could afford it, kind of thing. So it's just, it absolutely is a mindset. And again, you know, my grandfather, he came to live with us after my dad passed away. And he kind of like told me how in the military, how you polish your shoes and how you put your socks in, you fold your trousers, and how you'd kind of like, you know, maybe do this in the garden. And, you know, I remember back in those days, you know, you make and mend, you know, so the nails of, when you pull a nail or a screw out of a door, you batter it with a hammer and you straighten it out and you put it in a box. And then when you need the nail or screw again, you wouldn't go to B&Q and buy a new nail. You'd use one that you just pulled out.
Oh no, so true.
Do you know what I mean? So the shelving, like, you've got a beautiful shelf in the background. There wasn't any of that. I only started to go out and buy things like that when I had my own business, and the business was being, you know, alhamdulillah, started being successful. Before that, it was just, you just recycle everything. You'd recycle a door into a shelf, you'd recycle a shelf into a wedge, you'd recycle a wedge into a part of a shed. Do you know what I mean? So it was that kind of a thing. So alhamdulillah.
And so when you got that internship for like the longer period, 6 months and stuff, so you said it opened your eyes to like the digital world and broadcasting and all these kind of things. So where did it go from there then?
So I think from there, it just smashed that ceiling. There was this ceiling that we all have as humans, because we're creatures of experience, aren't we? And we're creatures of like learning. If we learn something in theory, it's in theory, then you've got to be practical with it. Once you can do the practical, then you've done it, then it's easy. It's easy in your mind. And I guess I was living the practical life of being able to see and to be involved in a team that was doing these things. And by the time I was kind of like towards the end of my work experience, I was helping in projects that were doing tens of thousands of pounds. Back then, that was a hell of a lot of money for like an identity or a digital brochure or that type of thing. And then I thought, I'm going to go it alone. And I was working in a pizza shop in Wakefield, again, to subsidize my education. That was on a weekend, so you finish college on a Friday, you go home, get changed, go into the pizza shop, spend all night till 4 o'clock in the morning in a pizza shop. And I had a good relationship with the chap who owned the pizza shop, and I said to him, look, I want to. It was a double-fronted pizza shop, and it was huge upstairs. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I said to the chap, I said, look, I want to start my own business, and I'd like to do it upstairs in the room upstairs, because it's not, there's nothing there. You don't need all that space. You're not using all that space. And he says, okay. He was, you know, a shrewd businessman. He says, you can have the room upstairs if you do an extra shift. And when you're in, if you can turn the pizza oven on at 4 o'clock, and if you let the doner kebab man in. So he got a really good deal, because he had the security during the day, and then I used to let the guys in, the wholesale guys in, and whatever, open the freezer. I knew what I was doing anyway. And that was the start. And that was the start of the business. So when I initially started, it was a web and print design shop. And I remember stood upstairs in the design agency, the design shop, and I looked out the window. And I was looking out the window, I was thinking to myself, you know, I've got so much experience, alhamdulillah, at that time, because the industry that I'd been in, the agency that I'd been in. And I thought, how do I tell the world about my experience? How do I tell the people on this road about my experience? Cars driving past, people driving past. And that's when I knew I had to push out the concept of marketing and turning on the light bulb for people to know that I'm here. And it was a huge challenge. You know, like now we've got a massive startup business challenge, culture, entrepreneurial culture, startup culture. Back then there was none of that. And, you know, you were mad to be starting up your own business. I mean, what is that? Why are you even doing that? So I got, you know, a few people that I knew from college and friends and family members, and I just kind of like immersed them together, and they started helping me out in kind of setting up the print business. And our first client was actually quite funny because it's just one of those, alhamdulillah, you know, I guess if you've got the mindset of doing something, the opportunities come your way. But when an opportunity comes your way, you've got to see it as an opportunity. You know, some people see it as a threat, other people can see it as a disadvantage, other people, you've got to just have that mindset that this is actually an opportunity, we can do something with this. So I remember stood at the queue in Staples, and I was there to buy a document or something, I can't remember. There was a chap in front of me, and he was complaining about the cost of printing some brochures, because he was actually manufacturing brake drums and discs, so he's in quite a kind of a manufacturing field, very boring. They do brake drums and discs for the big commercial vehicles. This is so expensive. How can you charge this? La 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 la. And I says, excuse me. What you want to really do is you want to make your catalog. You want to transfer your catalog from print to digital. And he looked over and he says, "What are you talking about, kid? What are you talking about?" I said, "What you need is back in the days with CD-ROMs. I said, you need to transfer all your information, put it onto a CD-ROM. Once you've transferred it and put it onto a CD-ROM, then you can hand the CDs out, or even better, get a website."
What year was this, by the way?
This was 98.
Wow, okay. All right. That's good. That gives context.
When I was 18, 19, so literally 20 years ago. And he's like, "What are you talking about, kid? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, give me your number, because I want to go talk to somebody about it." So I didn't have no business cards or anything. I gave him my number. And I got back to the office, and he called me. When he called me, it was, my gaffer, my boss wants to talk to you. Can you come down? Okay, wow, you want to come down? So we went down, and his boss was very entrepreneurial. He's set up in South Africa. He got his like big kind of like industrial kind of like warehouses, and you know they manufactured their own OEM type products. It was like an industrial steel plant almost. And his boss saw the benefit in that, and he started chatting, and that was our first customer, and it was huge. It was massive. I mean, I couldn't believe the first. You know, we got a check for X amount. It was like, wow, can you really sign a check for that amount? Do you know what I mean? It's like my house is worth less than that.
you know what's amazing, Adeem, is that firstly, I hope that everyone watches this interview that knows you. Why? Because when they see someone like you, they think, like, this guy, you know, he just overnight success. They don't see the hours you put in the pizza shop, right? They don't see the doner kebab that you helped to load, and they don't see all of that stuff. They just see this guy who's done amazing things, right? So there's one thing there in the sense of like this. There's a real like decades of journeying to get to where you need to get to, right? And then the second thing is how the qadr of Allah, like you were in that queue at Staples at that point, right? Imagine if you had got to Staples 5 minutes later, or 5 minutes earlier, or something like that. And then you're saying this client was actually a big client, your first client, which probably gave you a massive boost and a big confidence thing as well.
And you know, I mean, there's so many stories, it's unbelievable. I don't know how long we've got with this
Forever.
chat. I remember I invited him to the office, and I said, "Come to the office, and let's have a pizza." So this guy was like a private educated, really well-spoken Scottish man, and he had his suit on, and he had the cravat on, and the pocket square. Okay. Come in, and he says, "Is this your office?" I says, "Yeah." You're gonna have, and I forgot that you have to duck under the pizza, the counter. You have to duck under the counter to get. And because I'd done it so much, I'm like, "This is what we do. We just kind of duck under." Yeah. And he was like, he looked at, "You want me to walk through there?" I says, "Yeah." So he's quite a, you know what I mean?
Big lad.
Masha'allah kind of guy. So he ducked under, squeezed in, and he walked up the stairs and says, "Right, Adeem, I'm here for I'd like so-and-so pizza. Can I have a look at the menu?" And I'm thinking, okay, if you want to look at the menu. So he's looking at the menu like really intensely, and we got a pizza. And obviously, who uses knives and forks to have a pizza? Anyway, in his inside jacket, he had a knife and fork, and he had his own napkin.
Amazing.
And I was
Okay.
like, so this is the. And then he said one thing to me, and it was quite, it stuck with me for a long time. And I guess that's the kind of rule that I live my life by as well in terms of entrepreneurial. The entrepreneur life is that he said, Adeem, I'm sick of paying agency fees. I'm sick of paying big companies in Manchester and London. And I'm sick when I go to their offices and I see they've got multi-million-pound office block and whatever, and they've got these big fancy offices and they've got their Porsches and their Ferraris and all the rest of it parked outside. And I know I'm paying for that. My money is paying for all that. He says, I am really loving the fact that I can help somebody like yourself and support someone like yourself and give you that step up. Trust me, he made us work for it. He made us work for it. And I remember we put so much time and effort into this brochure in terms of this whole kind of like pack when we presented to him, and he was paying, like first page, introduction page, about us. And what he did was he picked the brochure up and he turned it on its. For him, it was he knew what he was getting himself into because he'd seen the setup, and he'd had a sample of the work. But he looked at the price first and started. I was like, okay. So we learn from other people's behaviors, and we learn from how people treat us in terms of how we want to be treated, and also how we want to be treated all the time. And I guess for myself, it's about being self-funded. Alhamdulillah, with the blessings of Allah. But also just about learning on the fly, constantly learning. And I go back to the challenge, there was a big challenge of finding more customers and clients. And the first one just dropped in our lap. It was just like, wow. And then after that, it was a case of you've got to go pitch and you've got to go get this job and you've got to go get that job and you've got to go pitch again and you've got to be in the running for this and you've got to network here and there and everything. And it's like, my God, this is hard work. Because I guess about half of your work isn't actually doing the work. Half of your work is actually finding the work and like selling yourself and getting the work in. And then I guess I was, whilst I was going through that challenge and that huge challenge at work in terms of establishing the business and establishing what we were about and exactly where we fit, there was a huge challenge at home. And the challenge at home was my mum wanted me to get married because I was the eldest out of three. My mum was like, you need to get married. In fact, you're going to get married to your uncle's daughter in Pakistan. We're going to get you married to your uncle's daughter in Pakistan. And here's a photograph. And the photograph was on the mantelpiece as you go in on the fireplace. It was there. And my mum was like, you're getting married to your uncle's daughter in Pakistan. And she's going to make some lovely chapatis for you. She's going to look after you. And I think in a selfish way, my mum was like, you know what? She's going to look after me as well. She's going to come home and she's going to really look after me. And I'm going to have somebody to talk to and all the rest of it, and we'll have grandchildren. I can look after his grandchildren. So, but alhamdulillah, it was a difficult time because you want to pursue your career, you want to pursue your passion, but then I guess you have a duty as well. And Islamically, marriage is half our faith, and deep down you want to do the best you can for yourself and for your religion, but also I did feel that there was a burden of responsibility on my shoulders to make sure that my mum, she was being looked after, but also that my mum was happy with my decisions. And me being the eldest of three, I was being a good role model to my two younger sisters. And my mum said to me, you know what, you can get married to whoever you want. And I said, oh really? I thought you wanted me to get married to my uncle's daughter. She goes, no, you can get married to whoever you want if you've got somebody. But if you haven't got somebody until summer, we're going to go to Pakistan and we're going to get you married in summer.
Oh.
Wow. You know what I mean? You've been telling me, all my life you've been telling me not to talk to girls, not to have girlfriends. And now you say, go find one. I'm like, where do I find one from? Do you know what I mean? You've been, slapping my ass saying, don't you dare talk to girls and it's haram to have a girlfriend and da-da-da-da-da. Like, okay, wow. So I went back to the office and I was scratching my head thinking, okay, and talking to people and being at that time, and I guess still at this time, it's a challenge of a whole generation. The challenge of a whole generation is how do we find a suitable, compatible marriage partner? Because it's not easy. Because we live busy lives, and we're in pockets around the country.
Yeah.
And if we're in a certain profession, we're not going to bump into somebody in the office because you're just not going to meet a suitable. There's not enough choice for starters. So where do you find somebody? And there's a little bit of an industry now in terms of marriage websites and marriage apps and so on and so forth. But we were literally the people to kind of start off that whole kind of industry in the sense of making the search digital and taking it onto a digital platform. And that's what I did. I kind of set up, and the guys at the office thought I was completely doolally. I said, look, my mum's asking me to find somebody and I can't find anybody. And I think this will be a really amazing opportunity for us to set up a website. We're going to call it Single Muslim, and we're going to launch it, and people are going to use this. It's going to be a profile-based marriage website. And they were like, I'm not sure, Adeem. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Everybody's doing their own. Anyway, I kind of like pushed it as a bit of a pet project at the same time trying to keep the business afloat. And sure enough, as soon as we launched it on the first day, as soon as we pressed that button to make it live, we had registrations coming in. We had loads of registrations coming in. And then we had to, the early days of SM were just pure hustle.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Most of the people didn't even know.
Adeem, how do you go from your mum saying you got a few months to find someone to I'm going to set up like a website? Like, I mean, is it just you saw the problem and you thought like this is going to work, or like how do you go from that to that?
Because they say the necessity is the mother of all action.
Zarurat ijad ki maa hai, they say in Urdu, right?
The ma is the ma, you know what I mean? My ma at home was telling me, if you don't find somebody, we're gonna ship you over to Pakistan. So mashallah, she gave me an option, but she said and then I had to guess. I guess I had to. Where there was nowhere else. I tried marriage events. I tried the mosque, and the mosque was like, what do you want? You want to find a wife? Like, go home and ask your mum.
Yeah. Okay. So did you have like experience in, because obviously you knew the digital world a little bit, but to go at that time, like, and say, look, I'm going to start a platform and it's going to be a website and this and that, like where did the belief come from for something like that, man?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think I saw that there was a vision that this would, because I knew that it was a problem. Like I said, it was a problem of a whole generation. And Islamic. I was involved in Islamic societies. I was involved in hosting lectures and so on and so forth. And you almost, there was the brothers on one side and the sisters on that side. And when you talk to a sister, it was like, sister, your sister, you were like, nice shoes, sister, because I can't look at your face. And it was just like, this is just silly, because I knew so many sisters when I say in the kind of like the Islamic content, and they were all like, oh, we're looking for marriage. Talked to none of the brothers, and so many of the brothers were like, we're looking for marriage. We've kind of like come to the end of academia, and we need to settle down now. But they couldn't get past the screen. They all went to Islamic events. They were all part of ISOCs and so on and so forth, and they were all in their little bubbles, and they wouldn't get together. And it was like, okay, come on, guys, we need to sort this out now. This is just getting beyond silly, because you want to get married, you need to get married, you have to get married, you're desperate to get married, if you can say that, but you can't find anybody to get married. And it's just such a simple problem. Why don't you create a website where it's marriage only for Muslims? The prerequisite is that you're single and you're a Muslim, and that hence the name singlemuslim.com. And it was just like, come on, guys. And we just hit it. Alhamdulillah, it was a success from day one. But we needed to start marketing, so we had to do a guerrilla style marketing. We went all over the place. This was before PPC and Google marketing. And I remember, I was trying to look for where Muslims congregate. So we went to lots of Islamic events, and we even went to the anti-war demonstration. The Million Man. Remember the Million? Yeah. So we went to the anti-war demonstration, and we were walking against the crowd of people, and we were like, every time we printed off these leaflets at Staples, and we made sure we had four leaflets, four of the same design on one A4 sheet, and then we guillotined it to save costs. That was our flyers. And then we were like, make love, not war, make love, not war, make love, not war.
Amazing.
And people were like, you know, the sisters and the brothers, they were like, okay, like, we're up to it. So they'd pick it and they'd look at it and they'd be like, I'm like, too late, we're gone now.
But amazing, like even like you weren't just going strictly digital. You were like getting out on literally the streets, and you were trying to spread the name of it, right? And trying to spread it. And you know, was it a weird complex now? Because it's difficult for me to think back now. Were people surprised that what you're trying to get me married on the internet? Was it weird like that? Because you were also pioneering, isn't it?
We were, alhamdulillah, with the pioneering of, you know, Muslim marriage online. No, not really. No, because the ones that understood the internet knew that this was a thing, and this is genuinely how niche communities do get together and do converse using platforms like the net. But we did, you know, we had. I guess my first experience of my success, we had Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, who came to a mosque in Bradford, and when Sheikh Hamza rocks up, I know he's going through a bit of a storm at the moment. But, you know, when he rocks up, and the car park was full. Outside the car park was full. Everywhere was full. So we were there just dishing out leaflets, just being cheeky like we normally were. And his big brother, masha'allah, Arshad, he was like you, but even bigger.
Really?
He came to my friend and he said, who set up this website? Who's this website? And my friend looked at me and I was like, oh my God. I was thinking, I want to get into the brace position. You guys are going to just come and beat me up. And I said, brother, it's me. How can I help? He gave me this mighty hug, like bear hug. And he says, mashallah, he says, can you remember so-and-so university, so-and-so. And I was looking up at it and I'm like, yeah. Like, you came there and I got your leaflet and and I went onto the website and now I'm married.
Wow, subhanAllah.
Wow. I go, wow, you're married. He goes, yeah, because of you I'm married. And because of you, I'm in love, and I'm so happy, I'm so happy in my life, and I never knew this, and I never knew that, and how I could find somebody who was just amazing, and your side, And I was like, wow, goosebumps all down my back. I was like, oh, this is just amazing. And that was it. That first success story just gave me a boost, and that was, you know, like even now till this day, we have so many notifications of success stories every single day, success after success after success. And it's just, that's the best feeling. That is the absolute best feeling. And, you know, people drop us an email and, you know, lots of people have got my mobile number as well. Just message me photographs of their children. And I'm saying, like, lots of children. I'm not, you know, third child, fourth child, mashallah. Yeah. And that is such a best feeling. You know, I can't tell you. So alhamdulillah, I mean, that's where we, that's the start of the journey.
So what were some of the challenges that you faced in the early days? Because, you know, yours is a bit different. Like a lot of people, they start a business, they start an idea, they don't get that initial traction, and they're really kind of finding it difficult to do that. But you found that thing, and you got it to the point where you started realizing that people are actually having full success, not just success where they're registering on the website, but they're actually registering and people are getting married, and, you know, it's moving forward. But what are the challenges you faced, even though you had that early traction?
No, you know what, maybe I'm glossing over a lot of the challenges. That it was challenging, massively challenging. You know, we're setting up a digital business. This is not Silicon Valley. This is not even like London. This is not Birmingham. This is Wakefield. You know, this is like Bradford territory right here. So it's, people don't understand what you're doing, and people at that time, people didn't even know what the net was. You know, our community is a massively laggard community.
Yeah.
So you know, we don't just join when everybody else has joined. We join when, and it's just that we're late to everything. You know what I mean? So I guess that traction didn't happen for a while, but you know the traction was going in the right direction, and you know that it was, you know, you were onto something because of the quality of the traction that you had. And now it's about scale. Now it's not about kind of like doing it or setting it up or having that. The idea is right because the people, the success is phenomenal. Now you just need to get scale on there. And, you know, like, there was a few people that didn't understand what it was all about. And some of that was because people just didn't know what the internet was. I remember one of my aunties, she asked me to come to her house. And when I went to her house, she says, you know, Beta, what is this that you're doing? And I says, you know, auntie, what is what? She says, you are meddling with our traditions, and you are meddling with, you know, the way that we work. And she literally just marched me out of her house. She says, "Do not do this. You know, what are you doing?" Da, 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 da. She didn't even know what we were doing. She had no idea. You could clearly tell she had no idea. But she says, "I've heard this and I've heard that." And after about 6 months, she asked me to come back to her house again. And I thought, last time Auntie marched me out. This time Auntie's going to beat me up. You know, she's going to just lock me in the basement or something. Anyway, I went to her house and she was like, "Beta, how are you? Have you had tea? Bring Adeem a cup of tea. Bring him some juice. Bring him some water. Bring him some biscuits. Cut him some fruit." And I'm like, "Whoa, proper VIP treatment." And she's like, "Okay, how old are you now? Are you at college? Are you at school?" I'm like, "Okay." Auntie's showing interest in me. Like, first time in my life, Auntie's like, I exist in her world, you know. And she says, "Look, I need your help with something." I said, "Okay." She says, your brother, my cousin, like, she's a community auntie, says, your brother needs to get married and we're desperate to get him married and we can't get him married off anywhere because we can't find anybody suitable. And I heard about your website and I'd like you to help me." And I thought, okay, wow, auntie's after something. That's why she's been so nice. And I spoke to her about it and I said, and she was like, she says, "We need you to use that machine of yours to find him a wife."
To make a wife. Use the machine to make a wife.
Yeah, please. Can I use the machine as well? But you know, because Uncle used to work at a factory, so Uncle goes to work and there's machines in this factory. So she's like, "Can we use your machine?" And I was like, "Okay." But we got him registered, and he is nice guy, man. It was very, very simple, and you know, not that. He's nice and simple chap, and he didn't want for much, and he was ready. That's the key. The key is that you've got to be ready. You know, it's not none of this, "Oh well, about this and about that and about the other." You know, if you're ready and you're prepared and you want to sacrifice and you're ready to take on a challenge, then I believe anybody can get married, and it's not going to take long whatsoever. So sure enough, we got him married. We got him married within a few months, and that kind of thing got me my mindset as well in terms of people don't know or don't want to know if something is good because it suits them not to. But when they need it, that's when everything is, you know, like we said, necessity is the mother of all action, not just for me but for everybody. And that I can't tell you how many times that repeated itself. We've had so many stories of people who've actually been widowed and kind of like, you know, later on in their life been divorced sadly, and they've learned how to use the internet. They've learned how to use computers because they've heard about Single Muslim, and they've heard that there's this website that can help them get married. And you know, it's just been phenomenal. It's just been phenomenal. We have 1 million UK Muslim registered on the website, so that's all, just over 50% of the Muslims that are kind of in the eligible age of marriage that are registered on the website in the UK. It's a phenomenal amount.
That's insane.
Phenomenal.
Like when you look at like case studies in business, Harvard Review, and all this stuff, and you look at that number, subhanAllah, amazing number.
It's an amazing number, and we are one of the most active multi-platform. And we don't like to use the word dating whatsoever. It's not a dating website; it's purely a marriage website. But the industry uses the word dating. We're up there. We're in the top 10 multi-platform dating websites in the country. Talking about mainstream, so that shows the technology, that shows the team, that shows our kind of like, you know, bandwidth capabilities. That shows how good the technology is as well. Because, you know, just because we're a Muslim matrimonial app, but that doesn't mean that we're not a business, and we are a true technology business first, servicing Single Muslims.
Amazing. So tell me, like, from that journey, because I know there's another journey after that, like, what were like the big lessons you learned that really kind of you feel, because you know every entrepreneur has those days when it's dark and it's hard and it's like, man, all these issues, whether it's people, you know, rubbishing what you do and all this stuff. Like, what's the kind of big lessons you learn? What's the advice that you would give to other brothers and sisters who are starting out, who are trying to make it, they see your brands and they think, wow, like if only I could get someone like that. Like, what's the kind of advice you would share with them on that?
It's hard. It is hard. No matter how kind of like how many advice books or how many talks or how many people you go to, you know, when you're getting smashed in the face, quite literally, when that's happening to you on the front line, it's hard. And I guess you've just got to learn we used to get in the early days, we used to get death threats on a weekly basis.
Why?
You know, remember? I don't know if you do remember actually, Arshad, when photographs used to be haram. Remember when photographs used to be haram? And you know, photographs are haram. You're only allowed to have a passport photograph. So why have you got a profile photograph? Brother, you're not allowed to have profile photograph. Photographs are haram. I'm like, okay, so then it's like, okay, but my sisters are on the website. You can't have sisters on the website. It's not allowed. You can only have brothers on the website. Yes, brother, but it's a matrimonial website. And unless you're talking about a different kind of marriage, we're talking about Muslim marriage here, you've got to have brothers and sisters on the website. Yeah, but you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing the other. And we used to get people used to give us death threats on a weekly basis. And I used to say to my team, I said, you know, how many death threats have we had this week? And they're like, no, we've not had a death threat for about 3 weeks now. And I said, guys, you're clearly not pushing hard enough because we need to be breaking into new grounds and new territories, and I need to have death threats. If I'm not having death threats, I know you're not pushing into new territories.
How do you build that attitude? Because some people would see that death threats and they'll be like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything right. But like your mentality is like very like, you know, obviously there's a serious aspect to it, right? When you first receive one, it's like, whoa, like what is this? But how did you push through? Like how did you like have that mentality now where like we're trying to do something?
When the first time you have it, bro, you don't sleep for a week.
Yeah.
What's looking after you back? You're like, what's happening there? You're bouncing like, is he following me? Is that car following me? You're thinking, okay, what's going on? Somebody knocking the door.
Yeah.
But you know, like, and I try to, we're all humans. You try to go back to why you did it in the first place. What was your intention? And you know, as Muslims, we believe that we'll be rewarded on our intention. And the intention of why I did it initially was a selfish intention, but it was also an intention to help other people out that were in a similar boat to myself. And that was to help Muslims of a diaspora community that are not in a Muslim land, helping them find a suitable, compatible marriage partner to complete their faith, complete their deen. And, you know, it's a form of dawah as well. And that was my intention initially. It wasn't a case of, okay, I'm going to set this up and become a multimillionaire, I'm going to set this up and it's going to be the biggest this, or it's going to be the biggest that. My line of work and my line of business was a design agency, a digital marketing design agency. And that's what my passion was. That was really what my training was. This was like a passion project, and this was something on the side where I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And you know, now again, the school of entrepreneurs and startups and whatnot, you know, they say push the boat out, experiment and trial and so on and so forth, and sets in, you know, that kind of thing. That wasn't the mindset at that time. But alhamdulillah, I guess it's that, like, the question that you asked, Arshad, was what keeps you going and what keeps me going in the hard times and the difficult times, which we have all the time, and I have right now, I have at the moment. You know, there's this, because if you're not getting challenged over here, you're getting challenged over here. If you're not getting challenged over here, you're getting challenged over here. You're always getting challenged from different quarters. It's just a different type of challenge. Depending on where you are in your life cycle, it's just a different type of challenge. And that's one thing that I've learned as well, is there's always challenges. When you grow, it's a growth challenge. When you never, as an entrepreneur, you never arrive anywhere. You're always going, pushing, and you're always making, and you always.
Because that's how people probably see you, right? They probably see that Adeem, he's got penny appeal, he's got this, he's got a single Muslim, he's a made guy, he's done that. He's probably just like chilling and just going through profiles all day. I don't know what he's doing. He's just relaxing. Like what, you know?
It's like, you asked me what I did when I was 10. I guess I just enjoy making things. That's the buzz is not about, and that's what I've learned. We had a chap called David, and he says, you know, it's just a kind of a bit of a Yorkshire saying. He says, how are you doing, Adeem? And I was like, we're getting there. And next, how are you doing, Adeem? We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. He says, Adeem, you will never get there. And I was like, Dave, that's deep, man. That's deep. I said, you know what, Dave? You're right. I don't ever want to get there. I don't ever want to get there because I enjoy the journey too much. And when you get wherever, you get there, whatever there might be, you just push it a little bit further, or you do something that's new, or you push that a little bit further. And I guess that's the kind of entrepreneurial bug that we have. We just get we're really excitable creatures. You know, we just want to do. Oh yeah, we want to make the world a better place, and we want to solve this problem, and we want to do that, and we can do this, and we can do that. Yeah, alhamdulillah, man.
Amazing. Okay, so I do want to kind of move on from single Muslim now, yeah? Because if most people I guess I speak to, they got one amazing thing and then I stick to that, right? With you, have to move on. But before I move on to Penny Appeal, because we're going to be speaking to Ahmad as well at some point, so that's not your baby anymore. But what I wanted to speak to you about was I read, right, that you went to this place, you went to college somewhere, right, and when you went to college, you later on went back and bought the building or something.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah, so Wakefield College. Remember I told you about Tony and Ron?
Yeah.
Tony and Ron were my college tutors, and they actually positioned me to work at York's Television, and in their kind of marketing suite. And then we had can you remember the politician Joe Cox who got murdered?
Yes.
A few years ago. Penny Appeal actually had an event in the memory of Joe Cox. It was in Ramadan. It was on Open Iftar in Wakefield, and it was in a park, which is a beautiful park in the centre of Wakefield. And in the heart of the park, there's a Wakefield College campus, and we did the event there. The turnout was really good. We had some huge speakers. Chief Superintendent Mabs Hussain was a high-ranking officer in Yorkshire. We had Sayyida Wasi was there. We had local MPs and dignitaries and so on and so forth. And just by the event, the park building, and we had to work with local fire, police, community councillors, and the college, because it was in the vicinity of the college. And the college campus was being sold off to some developers. I was asking the chap there, I was saying, look, what's going on with it? I've heard it's been sold and so on and so forth. And they said, look, we've just fallen through. The deal's just fallen through because Friends of the Park, who are quite a powerful local group, didn't want a housing development in the centre of the park, even though it would have been a beautiful housing development. So I said, okay, so what's going on now? They said, it's back on the market again. And I said, look, I'd love to move Penny Appeal into the park. It's such a beautiful tennis course there, the course there. It's just a wonderful place, and there's so many personal memories there as well. And then I guess I just started having a dialogue with the college and the principal and the governors, and they were over the moon, because they saw the work at Penny Appeal. They follow me as well, and they were just like, yeah, let's do this. And then we negotiated hard with them, like we do as Asians. We always do negotiate hard. Yeah. And you guys down south, you guys probably won't be able to buy a kind of like a garage or something, or a for the amount that we paid for this huge campus. And that, inshallah, will be the future of Penny Appeal. That will be the future home of Penny Appeal in Wakefield. So true to the roots, we're going to stay in Wakefield. That's going to be our international HQ. And currently there's an indoor gymnasium, there's a swimming pool there, there's a whole music block, and there's a huge administrative block as well over 4 floors. There's a theatre in there, there's a huge canteen in there. Wow. That's like our kind of future. So it was a college campus, but inshallah it's going to be the future international Penny Appeal HQ and campus.
Amazing. So it's so inspiring for you to, buy a part of the campus that your college was at. It's an amazing story.
My room, inshallah, the trustees will be having the room which was actually my tutor room. That was the room I studied in.
And it just shows again, like you sitting in that tutor room all those years ago, you probably never ever imagined that when I come back and buy this place.
And you know what, the college, I remember being at that college, and I remember thinking, this is such a big building, because we were in this department over here on this floor, and the building was phenomenal. And when we went in to actually have a look at the size of the scale of the building, just phenomenal, just huge, because they had the arts, and then they had the IT, then they had the library, then they had the science block, and it was just phenomenal. So no way in my wildest dreams. I mean, it wasn't like it was a strategy that we're going to go on, this is going to be the building that we're going to buy or whatever, but it was just, again, alhamdulillah, it's kismat, you're at the right place, I guess it's not even the right place, I guess you're just at that place in time, and it's what you see around you, and it's the kind of opportunities that you see that you can make, because just being there and just saying, hey, how's it going, how's the campus, even asking, is the campus for sale, or what's going on with the campus is one thing, but then them saying it's fallen through is, that's a shame, wish you the best to look for it. But we just went and we kind of like pursued the is it for sale? How much is it for sale? Can we do something with it? Can we work with it? And we've got a 5-year interest-free purchase plan with the college. So we're keeping it halal and kind of like, alhamdulillah.
Great. So one thing I wanted to say is that, alhamdulillah, I've been working in a voluntary capacity with Muslim organizations for, I think, about 15, 16 years now. And, you know the typical charities that are out there, the big guys that have been around for 30, 40 years, right? Penny Appeal, for me, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, you have small charities, and then you have those mainstream charities that everyone knows about. And now, obviously, alhamdulillah, like, Penny Appeal's up there. Everyone knows about Penny Appeal, right? So just tell me a little bit about, first, like, how did it come from, getting people married to starting a charity? And, like, why did you do it? How did it kind of start? And then how did you get that massive, like, fast success? It looks like fast success from us looking outside,
No, alhamdulillah. I think that there is a direct correlation, to be honest. Because when you set up a business, like you said, it's been a couple of decades now of hard work. And when we set the business up, it was a good decade actually before I set up Penny Appeal, and that decade was full of challenges, was full of like steep learning curves. But alhamdulillah, it was also full of success. And towards the end of the decade, we were, when I say we, it's always a team effort. We were making money whilst we were asleep. We were making money whilst we were in the shower. We were making money whilst we were on our days off, because it's digital, it's scalable, and people are registering. People have been registering now whilst we've been chatting. People are registering and paying whilst we're just whatever. And then I guess you come to a stage in your life where you think to yourself, "Is this it? This is you work so hard and you make money and you settle in." It's like, there must be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. And I get in the back of my mind and deep inside my heart, I always had a yearning to go back to Pakistan and go back to the place where my father came from, and to have a look at what made him come to the UK and why did he come to the UK. And I guess I had the opportunity when I had a little bit of financial freedom from my business. And I went back to Pakistan, and we are from a very, very remote village in north of Islamabad. And when I say remote, I'm talking no roads, no electricity, no water, no gas. That's how remote it is. And I went to my father's house, and my father's house is literally a mud hut, quite literally a mud hut. I'm thinking, my chacha, my dad's brother, is inviting me, and he's like, "This is your father's house, and he built this. This was his dream house, and he wanted to bring you all back here and live here, and his vision was to go over there, make a little bit of money, and come back over here." And I'm looking at this mud hut, thinking, it's just so it looks really romantic, it looks really beautiful, but live here, really. Thinking, my double garage has got better foundation, better insulation, more electronic gadgets and gizmos, better roof than this mud hut. But it just kind of puts everything into perspective. And then whilst I'm in the village, it was a beautiful, idyllic. It was a location. It was like just wow, the sunset and the sunrise. But once you get past, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qudrat and the beauty of the location, the realities on the ground are very, very different. People haven't got money for medication. People haven't got money for food. People have to travel miles and miles and miles to get clean water. And then it's not clean because it might look clean, but it might be, might be diseased water. They might drink it and get ill. So again, as somebody that feels like I had a responsibility because my father came from that village, I thought, I've got to give back a little bit. We're making enough money and we're making good money. I need to make sure that some of this is going back to my father's village and to my family there. So we help people with fertilizer to help grow their crops. We help people build wells locally, more local to them. We help people get out of debt. We help people with medical needs. And the best thing that I did actually was to help with education, because I feel that education is a sustainable program. So when you're actually educating somebody, you're educating and you're helping a whole generation out of poverty, because you're actually giving them the tools to improve themselves and find better opportunities going forward. And we started sponsoring a teacher called Ali. And Ali was an amazing guy. And talk about Michael Jackson at the beginning, but when Ali used to leave the room and he used to do a moonwalk, he used to walk backwards. That's how much respect the guy had. And he's like, look, Adeem, thank you so much. You're not just helping me and me and my family with the salary that you're giving me, but you're helping this whole village and the children of this whole village. And I was really taken back by the amount of respect that I got from Ali and the villagers as a whole, because for me these were my elders, and we paid Ali £30 a month.
Whoa, that's it.
£30 a month. And when I used to go to Pakistan, I used to go to Pakistan for long weekends. So I'd catch a Thursday night flight. It was a night flight. Get to Pakistan Friday morning, or Friday, or Saturday. Jump on a plane Sunday morning. Get back to Manchester Airport Sunday afternoon. And I got back to Manchester Airport and I went to the car park, picked my car up, and there was no fuel in the car. So went to the petrol station like you always do. Started filling the car. You don't really care for how much goes in because you need to fill it. So you just fill it. I want to fill it because I don't want to come back here. I'm bored of filling this guzzling thing. So you fill it in. It's like, and then it clicks. When it clicked, I just looked over. And this time when it clicked, I looked over and my heart just sank. I was like, oh my God. This is like, it's £90. I was like, £90. Because at that time, £90 was massive. Because £90 was massive because Ali's been getting paid £30 a month. Yeah. I've been living this, even though it's only for a few days, I've been living with the reality of Ali and his family. And I thought, oh my God, I felt so guilty and I felt really, really bad. And I thought, there's got to be this, like, Ali's just one Ali from a remote village from my ancestral home. But there's millions of Alis around the world. There's absolutely millions of Alis around the world. There's probably millions of Alis in Pakistan. So how can I help? How can I help and how can I make that difference? And I guess, when you come back from a break or a holiday or a trip away, your memories there, your memories kind of with those individuals that you've just left. But I say, once you've had a shower and once you've had a good night's sleep, you kind of like the focus is back to you. My mum's kicking my ass to get married. I've got all these challenges to get this business off the ground and da. So I kind of we'll help Ali and we'll help more Alis one day, inshallah. But then as the design agency, I met a client called David. He was got a lot of Davids in my life. I met a client called David Taylor. And David Taylor sat there and chatting to David. And David said, look, I've been away summertime and I've been to Disneyland, Florida. And we swam with dolphins and we went on a helicopter ride and we went in this hotel and did this and did that. And I thought, okay, I hope he doesn't ask me where I've been. So Adeem, where have you been? Okay, I've been to Pakistan and I went to Pakistan. What do I tell David about Pakistan? Do I tell him about the diarrhea? Do I tell him about the dolphin? Do I tell him about this?
Nalia.
Yeah, what do I tell? There's no toilets in Pakistan, David. So I had to go in this field. I had to wipe my backside with this leaf. And it was like this experience that you'll never. And so then I was telling David, and I was explaining to him how we were supporting villagers and how we were doing our little thing. So David picked up his briefcase and he took out his checkbook and he said, Adeem, I want to contribute and I want to help and I want to help in the work that you're doing. I was like, wow, David wants to help wow. I said, David, I can't possibly take your money because if I took your money now and I booked myself onto a Disneyland, Florida trip, you're going to probably thinking, where's he got his money from? I've given him some money for a project like that. And he booked himself on a trip. What's going on here? It's not something that doesn't add up. I said, David, I've been thinking about setting up a charity for a while, and I want to call the charity Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference. Because it's all about small change. It's about donations that we make regularly, like to Ali, to help not just Ali, but a whole village, a whole group of people out of the cycle of poverty. He says, that's fine, Adeem. He says, you do what you need to do. And when you set up your charity, I'm gonna contribute, so count me in. So it took us a while. It took us about 6-7 months or whatever to set up a charity because, to be honest, we did not know what we were doing at that time. I had to do a lot of research, Charities Commission website, find out what trustee does, what's the roles and responsibilities, and so forth. And some of the charities that you talk about, these are big superstar charities to me. These are charities that I've donated to in the past, and I still donate to now. And they say, we're only able to do what we're able to do because we're able to stand on the shoulder of these giants. And I guess that's where Pennyfield started. Pennyfield started with the kind of a really humbling experience meeting Ali in a remote village in Pakistan, but an equally humbling experience meeting David Taylor and his absolute generosity and his ability to trust someone like myself with his donation because he believed that I was, I would deliver it in a sincere manner. And then, like you said, in terms of why Pennyfield has got to where it's got to, I think, it's always about the people. It's always about the people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, blessed us with a really amazing group of people, a senior leadership team that's really passionate. And they sometimes put my passion to shame as well. In terms of, I feel like, I've got to drive, and then I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I need to sleep now. And these guys are they're just going on and on and on and on. But also because, I guess our experience in the digital field with Single Muslim was the natural catalyst. Because all our learning from Single Muslim, all of our experience in terms of the targeting the Muslim, kind of like Muslim individual, who they are, where they are, how they are, and using that ability, using that skill set to have a digital footprint like no other charity at that time. And I still believe till today we're very, very ahead, leaps and bounds in terms of our social media presence, in terms of our digital presence, and in terms of our kind of just generally online footprint as a whole, as a charity. And that really came because of my kind of personal experience and focus and background in that market. But now, they were the old days. Now the charity's, 200 strong in the UK and hundreds and hundreds of people around the world. And I guess it's taken on the form of the leaders that run the organisation. You're going to be speaking to, I know Ahmad Naima, our CEO, who's really the man behind the vision of a lot of our projects and innovations that we're able to do, and the impact, the real high impact, not just what Pennyfield does here, but we've also got offices in the USA, Canada, South Africa, Australia and Dubai. And alhamdulillah, we're just really blessed with a team that has that ability and that vision to push and really make those bold moves and kind of invest in those ideas that a lot of people say, oh, I had that idea. But like I always say, and I know a lot of people say, the idea doesn't belong to the person that's had the idea and goes back to bed and has another idea. The idea actually belongs to the person that does the idea and makes the idea into a reality and then can really own that idea. So it's really inspirational. It's really humbling to be part of a team of dream chasers. I guess people who are, I call them the dream team. These are the guys that kind of like the guys and girls. When I say guys, I mean this is
of course I do that as well. Guys and girls, yeah.
But these are the people that really make the dream happen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I can spend my time speaking to people like yourself, Arshad.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things I really love, because we do a lot of branding and all this kind of stuff is a passion of mine as well. When I see like the name Penny Appeal, I'm like, that's a genius name. Like if you understand the psychology of human beings and giving, I'm like, that's such a great name. And then it's like small change, big difference. I'm like, wow, like, the way these guys have done it. And then, the cup of tea kind of thing and all these amazing things, like just really, really, inspiring to see an organization. And it's great that you're not like those, you're not like an MC Hammer. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're old enough to remember MC Hammer, right?
Yeah.
Like we were excited because he's winning Shalwar, we got happy, right? So MC Hammer's a one-hit wonder, right? Like he produced this great hit and it was really great. The whole world heard it and that was it. And for you, like, mashallah, tabarakallah, to do Single Muslim and then to kind of shift over to something like this, use the knowledge, use the expertise to bring it here, I think it's phenomenal, like what you've done. And of course, like you said, I know this, that alhamdulillah, like when I was helping to build Aira and Al-Maghrib and all these kind of organizations, it's never you. It's always those amazing people around you that make it happen. Without them, you're nothing. You're just the guy in front of the stage or the camera or whatever. These are the people. So how do you actually pick those guys? Like when you look at someone, you think this guy's going to be my leader for Penny or this guy's going to be the leader for this or that. How do you choose that? How do you select? What are the qualities you look for in a great leader?
For me personally, I know that HR will say, Adeem, what have you just said there? You can't say this. But for me personally, it's about a relationship and a vision, and the integrity of that individual. Because you can train most things. In fact, you can train a lot of things, but what you can't train is you can't train passion. If somebody's kind of like, and you can't train drive, because you either got drive or not, and you can't train how the two souls click with each other. You can't. That's just either you click with somebody or you don't. And it's that relationship and that trust. And then it's just about being able to, you've got to just be generous. People you've got to give, you've got to, put something and say, look, this is Imana, and people have put this trust in me, and I want to put this trust in you. Take this and do the best you can with it. And then, like you said, you've got this team around you that support you and that protect you, and that kind of like always continuously fine tuning what you're doing, and checking in with you and making sure that everything's right. And then you've got people, like everybody's, and when it's very rare like that, but when it's kind of like at its optimum, it's like, just like you're just doing a really nice dance, everybody's dancing in the ballroom and they're all doing the thing. But it's just about people. It's about getting the right people. But I guess it's just who you connect with. If you like somebody, you can work with them, and if if that feeling that you get with people as well. And different people, I guess my job now is mainly just to kind of call myself I'm a lobbyist. If I because the systems are set up and the process are set up and the people are all that people are there, and my job is just to say, look guys, can we do a little bit more of this? Can we do a little bit less of this? Can we try this? Can we try that? Can we try the other? And just introducing people and kind of like being able to, headhunt people and whatnot. It's I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way, and everybody's got their own identifying scale, and some people go through a really thorough process, and there's got to be like a interview 1 and interview 2, and then you've got to go through this and profile testing and identifying.
What's interesting about what you're saying though, Adeem, is that I've been in a lot of partnerships. Like some of them were terrible, some of them were good, some of them are great, and what I realize is that now I even tell people that it's important for you to get connected with the person, even when you're hiring, in terms of your values first. And if they've got the correct values, then the abilities come into it, right? Yeah. It's not like, let me find someone who's great at this, and then later on they don't match. Partnerships only work if your values are matched.
Yeah, and you've got to be able, because the other thing you can hire in other stuff, you can train in other things, but the values are something that you hold, and I guess those are deep rooted within you, and that's what you feel comfortable with. And if you feel comfortable as entrepreneurs as well, we don't get out of bed because we are wanting to do this job or we need to do. We get out of bed because we enjoy what we do. We have a passion for it, and that's. You surround yourself with people that you believe in, I guess, and you surround yourself with people that, alhamdulillah, we're blessed to be able to surround ourselves with those individuals. We don't, it's not like our fathers or our grandparents that have to drive the bus or have to be in a factory or have to do any of that. That thing we don't need to. We can choose to be where we want to be, and that's a big blessing in itself. That's a huge blessing.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So I've got, I could speak to you for days. Literally, I think we could speak for days, yeah? And I hope that maybe we get a chance to speak more at another time. But I've got like 2 big kind of questions that I want to finish up on, right? So the first question I've got is that when I looked through, like, you've won so many awards, masha'allah, right? I'm talking like Entrepreneur of the Year award, and this is non-Muslim saying it. It's not like one of those, niche ones where you win it in the Muslim, but you won it Muslim Business Award, non-Muslims, NatWest, all this kind of stuff, right? And then I see pictures of you with the Future King, and I see pictures of you at Towning Street, and like all this stuff, right? But then when we see you and we speak to you, it's like, this guy's like like an up on a guy from local. He's like really nice. So how do you keep that humility when you've had so much success and recognition? You know, how do you do that?
It's just when I go home and my mum gives me a slap around the ear, oh man, like, who do you think you are? Nah, it's just, you've got to, I don't know, man. It's you just who you surround yourself with, and I like to surround myself with people who are constantly, critiquing me or giving me a hard time, and kind of like, always, everybody says nice things about you, and well, most people say nice things about you and say, well done or great work, and when you've done, and it's never me. That's the thing as well. Like you just said there earlier, I said it's never me. It's not me. I might have had that idea initially, and I've got Mohammad and Abdul and John and David to come up together, and then these guys have put their blood, sweat, and tears into delivering it. So it's about keeping real, I guess, and understanding that just because I'm the one that I call myself a bit of a delivery driver. I'm the one that goes and collects these awards. That award isn't mine. It's not me. And I guess why are we doing it as well? What am I being recognised for? I'm being recognised for the generosity of Muslims in the UK, and the generosity of Muslims in the UK who are giving for what? They're giving to help people in Yemen. They're giving to help people in Syria. They're giving to help people in Gaza. And where we are just that middle person, that middle part that helps people give to the right entity, and then we help create programs and sustainable projects that help give and keep giving to those that are less fortunate. And I work with some incredible people, some doctors and some lecturers, and like phenomenal brains, amazing brains. And sometimes I think to myself, what am I doing here? That keeps you humble as well. Like this kind of like the smartest and the most intelligent people in a room, and you're thinking, I keep a mouth shut. I don't sound like a idiot. It's just all those, and I guess just from being from Wakefield keeps you quite humble as well.
I've got like people from our Grand village. They're from Wakefield. So next time I come up there, I'm gonna give you a shout, inshallah.
Next time there's a family wedding or something.
Yeah, inshallah. So, bro, I wanted to ask you, how did MrSingleMuslim.com get married himself? Did you use the platform? Tell me the truth. Did you use the platform and you just sat there and just like scrolled through?
Yes, well, I did. I'm not going to tell you anything more than apart from that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
When I said to my wife, "You're one in a million," and you know what I meant it, because she was one in a million. And that's factual.
Amazing. May Allah bless you guys. Okay, good. So what I wanted to ask you, this is the last thing I promise, because I'm going to let you go. Someone watching this, like, what are any great books, any great resources, any tools, any speeches? What do you recommend that, someone who's like Adeem 15, 20 years ago, what kind of resources or anything that you would recommend for him to listen to, watch, read, anything that may help someone in that kind of journey?
Yeah, so I want to do a little bit of a cheeky pitch here, because I write quite a lot of LinkedIn articles.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And some of the LinkedIn articles are full of my experiences, people that I meet, books that I read, and so on and so forth. And in particular, there's a chap called Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool, who's from South Africa. And he actually spent some time in prison and outside of prison with Nelson Mandela.
Oh, okay.
When he came to Wakefield, I caught Wakefield the centre of the universe. Everybody should come to Wakefield. He came to Wakefield, and it was amazing, because you just learn so much of these individuals. They're just like walking, talking, thesauruses, and their knowledges, and they just ooze wisdom. And some of the things that he taught us all whilst he was here are in my article on my LinkedIn and my other experiences as well. So please do kind of like go there and have a look through. But just the biggest kind of places to learn is other human beings. Surround yourself with good people that are God-fearing, people that are successful for the right reasons, and just spend time in their company, and just learn from their traits. It's okay, learning the 10 habits, reading the book that's called 10 Habits of Being the Most Efficient Person in the Universe. But when you know somebody who's efficient, and you know somebody who's successful because they're efficient, just go spend a day with them. Just go make cups of tea for them or something, and spend a little bit of time in their company, and you'll soon understand why they're efficient. And not only will you understand the theory, but you'll understand it in a practical context as well.
That's a very northern way of thinking, by the way. In London, we ain't got time to spend the day with you. A day? Are you mad? But, but you know, I think it's such a great point, because you're right. We take so much knowledge from videos and books and stuff. But you're right. Like, just spending an hour or two with someone, or a day, like, you learn so much. Just like, and you learn full exposure. It's not just one version of it. It's like you're around them the whole time. So
deep dive.
Deep dive. Amazing. So, Adeem, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you, really, today. Jazakallah khair for all your time and your wonderful advice. I know that everyone watching will be, like, you know, blown away by your achievements, blown away by the advice you've given. And you've really played a part in, inshallah, them becoming even better. And just like you've helped to produce children, I hope you're going to produce amazing brands through others, learning through your experience.
Inshallah. Just ask everybody to keep us in their du'as. Keep everybody in du'as. It's a hard time for the ummah at the moment. You know, there's some tough challenges, and especially in the UK as well. You just need to be strong together. And you know what? I think what you're doing here and how you're doing it. Again, a lot of people think about this and think we should do this or we should do that. We should help people. It's amazing. I'm taken back by the fact that you're spending your time and energy and resources in this when you could be doing other things. So you have my full support, and you have the full support of all the organizations I'm involved in. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and reward you and keep you going strong, inshallah.
That means a lot, bro. Thank you so much. Amazing. Brothers and sisters, this is the Muslim CEO show. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was amazing for me, alhamdulillah, to do it. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you go out and check out Adeem. He's got some really cool vlogs and stuff. You should check out his articles on LinkedIn, and you'll see pictures and videos of him walking with lions and stuff like that as well. So make sure you go check him out. Subscribe to our channel, of course. Check out the free training at muslimceo.com. And inshallah, till next time, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wassalam.